Hello everyone and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Pokemon Violet. Hope everyone's doing wonderful on this, this wonderful Monday evening, you know? We have, unfortunately, spent the last 2 hours hunting for this elusive moon ball, and it is about to drive me crazy. So that is what we're going to start off with today, and hopefully we get some streamer luck and get this knocked out of the park so we can move on to actually completing the quest with Perrin. If you're watching after the stream, I do want to remind you that we stream these videos live at twitch.tv/unexpectedlyrandom. We are here Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time and Saturday and Sunday at 4. Make sure you follow us on Twitch to join the chaos and check out our streaming schedule for the current lineup. We also have a Facebook and Instagram. Those are the best places to stay up to date with any changes that may occur pertaining to the streaming schedule. And we have a TikTok and the social media platform formerly known as Twitter if you want to check us out over there. Other than that, let's get going into this hopefully slightly less than miserable process here. Where we walk in here. Oh, why is this zoomed in? There we go. Luxury balls. Zinks. Okay. So basically what we're doing is we're saved outside of the auction house. If you're not familiar with the auction house, we'll get into that in a moment. And it's been a day-ish since the last time we saved. And therefore a new set of auction items has spawned. And as long as we don't save on the current auction item set, we can reload and it will load in a new set of items for the auction. And there's like a 0.019% chance of it having a moon ball. So that's what we're trying to re-roll, I think is how it's identified every time. Oh, I must have got zoomed in before I saved it. Great ball! Zinc. So this is kind of our life now. And I've literally spent at least the last 2 hours today cycling through this. We got some of the rare ball items to show up, like the love ball I think is a rare one. The heal ball maybe a rare one. I'm not sure. No, the heal ball you can buy in the shops, I think. So, but yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful process. And then after, hopefully soon, after we find the moon ball, we'll go ahead and head on over and talk to Perrin to see what's going on over there. And if we don't totally break the bank in the process, which we might because they're expensive, we may see if we can sell enough items to get us back up to $1 million and get our fancy Gene Bay, so we can finish this this quest with the fancy Gene Bay. Also, a slight correction. I think I mentioned it on a previous stream, but in case I didn't, the DLC, the Teal Disc DLC, Indigo Disc, does not drop November 18th, which I mistakenly stated before, or November 15th. And as a result, we can't have our stream on November 18th, which didn't exist as far as Pokemon's concerned. So Herb sausages. That's exactly what we were looking for. We can't stream it on the 18th because it doesn't release on the 15th. Because all of that's actually in December. It's December 15th, which is like a Friday. And the following Monday is December 18th, which we will be streaming the new Indigo Disc DLC. So, not to worry there. I do have that queued up and ready to join our programming as soon as it's released. So, that will be a nice thing for us to work on. We also have Okidogi and Monkey Dory and Fezandipity to catch still in the Kitakami region, as well as a bunch of other Pokemon to evolve. But as we found out, the Moon Ball that you get as a reward for completing the Kitakami Pokédex requires all 200 Pokemon in the Kitakami region, which we can't get if we don't have Blood Moon Ursaluna. I do not want netballs. So yeah, that brings us back to this vicious and never-ending cycle. It's great. Do 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 do. And yes, we could catch it in something else, Luxury Ball or Premier Ball, any other thing that's not a auction house restricted item. Oh, actually, speaking of that, I was going to tell you about the auction house, in case you're not familiar. Or tell you the rest about the auction house, in case you're not familiar. But we could catch Ursaluna in... Hey, bottle caps are here. Could catch Ursaluna in a different ball, but I don't want to because it's a guaranteed catch, and I want it to be in a matching ball because we're cool like that. So, unfortunately, that's where that is. So, if you're not familiar with the auction house is a new gimmick feature, function, something that's been added into Scarlet and Violet that wasn't in previous generations. And it has the wonderful function of making you pay copious amounts of money for trivial items that are mostly cosmetic based, or, well, I guess it's not mostly cosmetic based, but they are items that don't occur or occur very little in the rest of the game. So you can come to the auction house and it sets you up against two NPCs. Metal coat, look at that. And a moonstone, it's so close. I've had moonstones show up so many times. Set you up against two NPCs, and then you all get to bid on this item. And the NPCs have items that are their favorite items, which means they will spend copious amounts more money for them, oftentimes driving the prices of the items up over the regular shop prices if it's like the Ultra Balls or the Great Balls, whatever we had show up there. They'll often drive the price over what it would cost to just buy it outright in the shop. So that's always a wonderful thing. So it's great. The apricorn balls, like the drawn a blank, the moon ball, the fast ball, the ones that used to be made by Kurt with various colors of apricorn, moonstone, and a gold bottle cap. Look at that. They start out at $100,000, just a base price, and then they bid up from there. Fun times, real fun times. You know, it was like exactly a year ago, like within just a couple of days, that this game actually released. Premier balls, PP ups, and potions. But we got all the yeah. It's almost exactly a year. It's pretty crazy. And so we continue the vicious cycle of resetting these wonderful auctions. I'm not concerned so much about missing out on the item. Like, we've got enough money that we can outbid most likely anybody that we get matched up with. Hopefully, we get matched up with a couple of kids because they don't tend to bid nearly as much as the older NPCs. Um, but we've got like 800 or 900,000 dust balls. Okay, 800 or 900,000 dollars in game. So we should be able to pretty easily outstrip anybody that thinks they're going to win this. And it's crazy because it's all for one single ball. If it weren't for the fact that it's a guaranteed catch on Ursaluna, this would be totally and utterly pointless. Although we did, was it Beast Ball? I don't think it was Beast Ball, but there was something that we used, luxury balls maybe, when we were collecting the treasures of ruin. That no, because our frosty ferret friend, wow, that's a lot of alliteration. He's in a ice colored ball, so I don't know about that. But I know it was a mess. Premier ball again. Somebody pray to RN Jesus that this goes faster. Oh my. But yeah, the Treasures of Ruin was one that we just fought with it and fought with it and fought with it, trying to get it into the right Pokeball. Just because it's fun to have a match. Like the shiny Salandit. That was a neat one that we put in a timer ball because it's got the kind of silver color and the black detail. And it's actually really cool that it does the like cloud of clocks when you throw the timer ball into battle. If anyone's wondering what other options, horseradish, pomeg belly, what? Fried fillet. If anybody's wondering what other options you have if you don't want to fight with the auction house in order to get um, the moon ball, there are rewards for completing the Pokédex. Um, Once you get to a certain amount of completion in the Pokédex, you are gifted a moon ball. For the Kitakami Pokédex, that is 200, as I mentioned previously, and there are 200 Pokemon in the Kitakami region, which means there are 200 Pokemon in the Kitakami Pokédex. So once you catch all of them, you can get a moon ball to go catch something else. On the flip side, the regular kind of the national Pokédex, if you will, is you get a moon ball for 300 Pokemon. Now that one's probably obtainable. Um, and in all honesty, I haven't looked at the national Pokédex since we made all the progress we did in the Kitakami Dex. 261. So it's 300, I believe. Of course, it doesn't show it here. Once you get 300 caught in the regular Pokédex, or 200 in the Kitakami Pokédex, both of them will give you a moon ball. And then apparently the other option, Nest Ball. The other option is the Academy Ace tournament. I believe there's a significantly low chance that you might get one as a reward for completing that. But in all honesty, that's probably more tedious than just trying to get it at the auction house, because you have to go through and battle, what is it, 4 or 6 people. Now, if you've got, I've seen online a lot of people recommend a turbo controller where you can set it so it just automatically clicks, spams the A button or whatever. And if you've got stuff set up so your Pokemon are strong enough and have the right moves with enough attacks that you can just spam the button, then that might be a better option, because you can just set it up to run overnight or something. Which would also give you the bonus of getting tons of money. Quick Ball! I can buy those at the store. That would also have the added benefit of giving you additional money, because you get money for winning the tournament. And for defeating all the trainers. Maybe it's just for defeating the trainers. I don't remember. It's been a while since we did the Academy tournament. What we ought to do sometime is take our team that we use for our travel here in the Kitakami region. We ought to take that over there to the Academy and see how they fare in the tournament. I think that'd be pretty neat. Something to do anyway. However, not right now. We are on a mission. Ultra Ball! Why don't you just sell a slap in the face, because that's kind of what it feels like. Alrighty. We need like some Jeopardy music or something. Like some non-copyright infringing Jeopardy music. Because I'd almost guarantee if we loaded that up, YouTube would have a ball with it. Which is fair. I mean, as long as it's the owners of the Jeopardy music claiming it. But we won't go off on that tangent again. Netballs! More like not, because that's not the right one. So clever. Or something like that. Welcome to Soft Reset Simulator. I don't know what's going on anymore. This initial load is like terribly long. It's dreadful. It's just like, bleh. You gotta change the compass to a clock, and you can see how many times it goes around. Alright. Heal balls. Heal balls. Let's see, what is your starting price on this? Oh, no. So heal balls are not anything special. Which also means bye. Oh, wow. I don't know, I may be losing my mind by the end of this. Good possibility. Today is Monday. Unless you're watching this on a day that's not Monday, and then it's not Monday. Don't let me confuse you. We could potentially run a little over if necessary. Curry powder, health feathers, moo moo milk. I don't even know. I do not even know. Great Ball. Duskstone. No. I should have a counter set up so we could mark how many resets we've had to do for this. I wasn't planning on having to hunt for the moon ball because I figured I was gonna have plenty of time beforehand to take care of it. That did not happen, but it's all right. It's still content because everything is content. Everything's recorded when you're filming a stream. Everything is content. Uh, repeat balls. We can buy them too. So yeah, there's your parody sneak peek. The bees took over. It's chosen the bees. Net balls. Now I'm pretty sure I'm not locked out of the rare. I want to call it a rare drop, but whatever the rare items are, like the moon ball, because I was certain that I'd seen one when I was rolling through it earlier. So that shouldn't be the problem. Shouldn't being the operative word there, of course. Horseradish. Oh, really? You're both selling horseradishes? Are they the same price? 21 for 3,700. 39 for 6,200. No. Hi, Kerhoo! Welcome to Purgatory. We are currently resetting the auction house for the sole purpose of finding a single solitary moon ball so we can pay our entire life savings for it. It's it's a great time. There's like a 0.019% chance of it spawning, or a 0.19% chance of that particular item showing up. And we are not rolling the RNG very well. Great balls. But as soon as we find this great ball, or not this great ball, it's a great ball, but it's not the great ball, this moon ball, we can actually get this quest with Perrin completed, because we are picky. Mostly it's because we are picky. Which is not to be confused with we are VR, as in VR Troopers, which was a Power Rangers spin-off. It wasn't a Power Rangers, but it was like the generic Power Rangers from years ago. Horseradishes and muscle feathers. Because that's what everybody wants. Anyway, thanks for checking in, Kurhu. Thanks for checking in, Zelda Elise. Congrats, Kurhu, on redeeming first. You have been first 38 times. Congratulations there. If you have not checked in, anyone who is joining us, you can use a single random atom, that's our channel points, to check in and keep track of how many times you've joined us here on the stream. Yep, trying to get him to change it to a moonball. Because when you load in, as long as you don't save it, or if you advance your clock on the console, but if you advance your clock, you can sometimes get locked out of stuff. These four, technically, but it's these three booths in the middle, they change what they're selling at the auction every in-game day cycle. So you can get different items from them, and then you have to fight NPCs to actually purchase them. But because we're at the point where it resets, and as long as we don't save, we can continue just reloading the game, and it'll roll a new set of items for those auctions. And from everything I've found online, there is absolutely nothing that you can do to actually influence what they provide in the auctions. You just have to get mega super duper lucky. Especially with the Moonball, because it's one of the rare drops, or one of the rare items, and it has very, very low appearance rate. But even with that reduced rate, the tedium of doing it this way is still presumably less than trying to do it other ways, because there are a couple of guaranteed ways, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, to get the Moonball, but they are significantly worse as far as the duration of time to complete at this point in our adventure. So around and around in circles we go. What's that they say about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? Yeah, that's probably where we're at. Dusk Ball. I'm honestly I'm kind of tempted if we don't get this by the majority of the stream or the standard scheduled duration of the stream. I'm half tempted to just use something else for the Blood Moon Beast encounter, but I really want it in the Moon Ball because it's got a moon on it and it looks really cool. But this may be an exercise in futility. As they say, resistance is futile if ohms is less than 1. Cloth sticks. That is a reminder for everybody. Balkoth the Lich. I'm always going to pronounce that wrong, but hi, welcome to the stream. Thanks for checking in. As always, I won't charge extra for mispronouncing your usernames, because that's one of our many offerings here at Unexpectedly Random. And we continue the reloading cycle once again. Great ball. That is... That's disrespectful right there. It's... Oop, wrong button. You'd think after running through this sequence it'd be kind of muscle memory. Yet still, I pressed the wrong buttons. Lich rhymes with witch. That's perfect. Very, very nice. And the ads. Of course, the ads. Quick balls. At least that's something a little different, but still not terribly helpful. And away we go. No ads for Kurhu, yep. The perks of being a subscriber, which, speaking of... Well, we'll get to that in about 13 seconds when the ad rolls through. But the bright side is it's another 27 minutes, I think, before, yeah, ads are over. Gives you about another 27 minutes before it's going to try and do an ad again. So here's that up. Pretty nice. Pokeball. That right there is the ultimate disrespect. It's like just take all my money and don't give me anything at this point. And we load again. Will this be the opportunity, the winning reset? This is where I wish I was more familiar with polls, because then I could set up a poll on each one of these resets and see if any of it makes it more lucky for getting the moon ball. I am at this point. I am just trying to get one. We're holding off on the Blood Moon Beast um, ending, so we can catch Ursaluna, Blood Moon Ursaluna in a Moonball. But this was what appeared to be the most, or the least tedious of the options for finding a Moonball. That's not the button I wanted. Wow, drawing a mega blank there. There's the button to close the software. But yeah, just one Moonball would be phenomenal. I appreciate the offer. I certainly do. Um, I honestly I haven't got into trading at all on here, and I'm not entirely sure how that process would go down. And I'm not where I haven't gone through menus and things as far as connecting to the trading system and what requirements are on it. I'm not sure what would need to be censored for identity protection and that sort of thing. Luxury balls that aren't terribly common, but still purchasable in the shops. Mm, I'll be totally honest, it's tempting. But I've tried to be hyper careful on stuff getting shown because not only for the stream, but all these VODs go up over on YouTube as well. It does require the Nintendo Online. I think I have that membership set up. Uh, but yeah, where it's something new that I haven't been through before, I do like to kind of preview it before broadcasting it that way. It's just a precaution. I like to be over careful and not risk that sort of thing. I do appreciate it though. I really do. Hopefully, RNGesus will just be nice to us and bless our next stock. Just a little bit of luck. Sunstone, that's pretty nice. And soda pop. I really wish they just had the apricorns or something somewhere that like the good old days of Pokemon Crystal. I think it was Pokemon Crystal, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Because there was Kurt in Azalea Town, and all you had to do was find the trees once a day. You could harvest like 1 to 3 apricorns from a tree, and then give it to Kurt, and then Kurt turns it into a Pokeball, and then the next day you can come and pick it up. He'd only make one at a time, I think, but at least there was a reliable technique for getting up. one of the many fallacies of being spoiled with the early games. But it's all good. And I mean, I honestly, it's not anything specific to you. It's a general thing. Um, it could be as simple as it shows my Wi-Fi connection, and that gives some random person. I'm not even saying you necessarily specifically, but anybody that might come across the VOD or anybody that comes across the YouTube video, any of them could be one of those people. And things get unfortunate because people are, for lack of a better term, over enthusiastic at times, and so they do unfortunate things. I'm not thinking necessarily that's a personal attack or anything that way. It's an overabundance of caution, and where it's not something that I've previewed before, I just would rather play it on the safe side until something that we've been through. That's also part of the reason that generally everything that gets played on the channel here, it's generally single player stuff because it's difficult to regulate what other participants say and do, and I kind of try and stick to a standard that way. Try it out with friends off stream after the stream. Yep, that is a good idea. Or even, I mean, just going through the process, even if it's not, because certain things, like, of course, I've got my logo up there up top. I could, if there's a spot where it shows the network, or it shows something that I'm not one to share, whether it's something that's necessarily immediately problematic, we can just slap the logo over it or that sort of thing. But yeah, definitely something to review off stream. I have faith it will. We'll get the moon ball here. Hopefully. If not, we'll have a nice filler episode for posting later. Need one of those 6 hours later clips from SpongeBob. It's fun though. It's honestly it's entertaining for me to keep ooh, timer ball. That's a different one. To keep attempting this than some of the repetition in the Zelda Streamer's Choice Zelda streams where we just kept dying and dying and dying, because those got to where it was kind of miserable. For sure, for sure. Yep. Yeah, probably, I don't know, after the stream or sometime before our next round, I'll check into it. That way I'm covered, and then if something like this comes up again, it just make sure I'm prepared for it in that case rather than walking into it here. I mentioned earlier I spent 2 hours prior. Ooh, dive ball. That's a different one. 2 hours prior to the stream here, just cycling through this, trying to find the right spawn. And I thought it would show up in that time, but it just is being a pain. But I guess if it showed up every time, it wouldn't be considered a rare item, so. It's just a kind of a strange game mechanic. Nest ball. Moonstone. It's halfway there. If I did trade for it, you were going to surprise me by sending the ball held by a gift shiny. Well, I certainly I appreciate the offer, but um, it's just kind of a personal preference. I do, like I said, I do appreciate it. I really do. That's not the right button. And we have a new follower. Thanks for following. I appreciate it. It's always fun having Yoshi sniff out the new followers there. Welcome, Balkoth the Witch. No, the Lich. I knew I was going to mess that up. Sorry. Balkoth the Lich to the Chaos. Got my wires crossed in my brain there. But hey, who doesn't like a little bit of magic? Magic is fun. Oh, that reminds me on our on our Streamer's Choice Zelda stream, I still need to go back and get the potion from them from the forest there. Maybe sometime later we can battle too. It's a possibility. I'm not going to rule anything out at this point. I'll just forewarn you, I'm terrible at everything battling and competitive in nature, so... You don't compete either, you just battle for fun. That, to me, that's the best way to do it, but... Especially with all the IV training and stuff. I set up a Pokemon so I could do the Mewtwo raids, the 7-star Mewtwo raids with Mewtwo the Unrivaled. Moonstone. Oh, you set up. So I set up a Mew for that, and it was miserable. The whole process it took all of the fun out of it because it was terrible trying to go through and make everything just perfect. I did set up a Pokemon, yeah. Go through and change all the IVs, feed it all the carbos and things to adjust its stats so it fits perfectly for what's suggested for that raid. Changing all of its moves around to things that I rarely or never would normally use. Um, just so it was something that I could actually battle with, and be successful. And even then, it was terrible. It did not go well. Um, yeah, the EV training and stuff. It was actually my Mew on here because they had the event distribution of the Mew, and if you battled the Mewtwo raid with the Mew from that distribution, it would give it the mightiest mark. So you would have a Mew the Unrivaled. Let's see if we can find this here. It's in one of these. There it is. This one. So it ended up with changing the Terra type, which I ended up having to change twice because I read the wrong guide. And so ended up changing the Terra type, had to hunt down the held items and stuff. Oops. Set up this where, I mean, things like Light Screen and Swords Dance are never things that I would really ever consider in just a general playthrough because it's not really a damage causing attack because I'm one of those kind of players. But then I had to pile all kinds of, I don't know, it was like 60 or something vitamins to get it into special attack and special defense, I believe. And then I was following the wrong guide, and it turned out that you actually needed to boost its HP and its standard attack for the different. It was a mess, and you had to change its nature using the mint, like the adamant mint. Because let's see, yeah, it's got a timid nature, and that wasn't ideal for the boost. But if you give it an adamant mint, it would give it the stats of an adamant nature, and it was crazy. But as a result, it gives you the mark, the mightiest mark here, which I was really looking forward to since I'm kind of an OG Pokemon fan, I guess. So Mew and Mewtwo were a big thing for me back in the day. But Swords Dance is great, but not in a raid battle. Oh yeah, it was bad. Cancels all the stat changes. Basically for that battle, which was actually against this Mewtwo here, you had to be teamed up with a full team of Mews, and one of them had to have some kind of a terrain-based move, because with this Mewtwo, when you're fighting him, you'd get him knocked down to half health, and then at half health, it uses rest, and then restores all of its health, 100%. And then it was also carrying a held item, some kind of berry that wakes it up from sleep, so it's immediately woke back up and just goes on to completely destroy you if you're not perfectly set up. In that case, if you have a terrain active, like misty terrain or grassy terrain, that sort of thing, it prevents it from going to sleep when it uses rest. So you had to have somebody sitting on standby to use the terrain move right when it got down to half health, so it couldn't regenerate and make everything really bad. And it was something like 6 or 7 different matches that I ended up having to go through before I actually was able to, with the group that I was with, finally get it taken down. It was weird. But that was all stuff that, because of the timing, I wasn't able to do it on stream, so I was just desperately trying to get it defeated so I could get my Mewtwo. And it all worked out in the end. I mean, I made sure I took a screenshot of my Mew beforehand with all the moves that it had from the distribution, because I kind of wanted to put it back to how it was rather than how it was changed for the specific task. Because that one, if I remember right, that Mew, when you received it, it didn't have a specific Terra type. It randomized it when you claimed it. PP ups, dusk balls, zing. So it was kind of neat that we had our own special Mew by redeeming this distribution item. It's a little bit unique in that sense. So made it sentimental, I guess. But yeah, that was very very tense battle, and I don't understand how people can go through and do. Maybe it's just that I'm not as dedicated as some of those the EV trainers and stuff, but they the people that like actually do the battles and stuff, it was crazy. After you learned about Twitch trade bots, you don't think you'd ever go back to legitimately setting up a Pokemon for competitive battle? I don't know that I am familiar with Twitch trade bots. I mean, I can infer from the name that presumably it's a thing set up that automatically allows you to trade, and probably is commonly streamed on Twitch or that sort of thing. But the concept itself is foreign to me. Quick ball. Back with the Pokeball. Back with. You disappointed me. There are some Twitch streams that exist just for people to use chat commands to use the bot to build a Pokemon for them. If the requested build is legal, it'll build it, trade it to the requester within minutes. Wow. That sounds awesome. Sounds yeah, that's I was gonna say cheaty, but not really cheaty. It's maybe more using your resources. That's impressive. And then because it checks to see if it's legal, something like that could be used for actual competitions and things as well, and like transferred through Pokemon Home or that sort of thing without presumably any issues. That's fascinating. It doesn't honestly, it doesn't surprise me with the way that people are. Some people are brilliant at coding those things to make that work. Timer ball, super potion. Jeopardy waiting music would be great. Be be real fitting. King's Rock, Dive Ball, no. Saves all the time of getting it the long way. Technically cheating, but because they make sure it's a valid result anyway, I gotcha. It's not gonna throw any flags. Although, could you imagine if like somebody used it to win those ads? Yep, they do be advertising. Ooh. Dusk Ball, it's so close, but no success. Wow, that's wrong sequence. There we go. About to have trouble making some legendaries and mythicals. I guess that makes sense because it's probably most a lot of the legendaries and mythicals that are released are a very specific design because they're typically parts of like a promotion or that sort of thing. So I could see the bot matching it with things that are functionally valid but not necessarily a accurate assessment or an accurate validity. But yeah, if they somebody had a bot make their team for them and then went on to win some contest, then it wouldn't technically be against the terms unless it specifically prohibits bot created Pokemon. but I'm sure there'd be some social backlash for it for sure. I gotcha. Because they're unobtainable in the game itself. You can only make certain legendaries and mythics without a home tracker, and that I gotcha. Because it's never actually been released in the game, so the only way to get it would be passing it through home, and without that home flag, the game's gonna be like, yeah, sorry, you obviously obtained this in a method that was not permitted by our system, so negative. You are not allowed. And then because they are mythicals or legendaries, it's not like they're something you could breed with something to pass it through either, because that would be like, okay, you've got, in my mind, it may not work that way, but you've got something that's not transferable, but you could breed it with something to produce an egg of something that was transferable that in the end result gives you the original thing you were looking for, but just with the new flags and stuff set. But again, if it's not something that can be transferred through home anyway, it's not going to matter because you wouldn't be able to transfer the offspring through either. There's so much more complex mechanics and things to these games that, and I mean behind the scenes functions that I've never even tried to fathom. It's just like, yeah, I'll go in here and I'll play through it and I'll catch the cute Pokemon and then we'll move on. You remember hearing that the devs don't really care if the Pokemon is fabricated, if it's used in competitive stuff, as long as the Pokemon itself is something that could exist. I mean, I could see that because I mean, ultimately, how you got it's not necessarily an issue. It's that it's something that's allowed. I imagine that even if like the devs or the competition, the people running the competitions, even if they permit it, I could see if like if imagine if you went up against somebody and you found out later that they won with a um, completely fabricated team, and you spent hours or years or well probably days and weeks, maybe years, building your perfect team, and you just barely lost to them, and they basically printed theirs off from the internet. it would it would definitely cause some social frustration, even if it's not necessarily a game breaking or a competition breaking issue. I'd be a little miffed if I found out that the only reason they won was potentially because they printed their team off the internet. To me, it feels more like if you were doing a trading card game competition and you would you printed your deck off the just like the off a website or something. Um, while your cards may be identical to what somebody else could have, you just didn't have to do the work to collect them or that sort of thing. And personally, I'd be miffed if I come in with a prize team and just got destroyed. But again, that's assuming I had the capability of getting to that point anyway at this from the start. Kids have all the time on their hands, but adults have work, chores, lives that get in the way. That's true. Sometimes you want to be able to participate, and life makes it difficult to participate in a classical sense, so you've got to find other methods like having I mean, in a way, it would be no different than if like you had kids and you said, "Hey, little Timmy, come here. I need you to play through this and get this team built up while I'm at work because we're gonna take on this contest, but I don't have time to build the team." So you had your kid or your friend or your whatever go through and put the work into it. Just because it was a bot that built it doesn't necessarily make it any less um, valid, I guess, is maybe the best description there. Because yeah, I mean, I would never have the time to invest in all that, the time or the patience, really. That's pretty cool. That's definitely a nice thing of you to do. Kind of sets you up to surprise people or to because I mean even like finding shinies and things are are challenging. Well, it used to be more challenging. Um, I've I've noticed in this game specifically, it seems like finding shinies in the wild is a lot easier than previous games have been. I've never really done any shiny hunting myself. In all my years of, I mean, as far back as Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Crystal, which were the first Pokemon games that I ever had, it was in one of those two that I found my first authentic full odds shiny. I believe it was a Farfetch'd. I believe it was in Pokemon Yellow, and it was in the little patch of grass just south of um, Pallet Town, I believe. Because there's a grassy area, and then there's a coastline where you can actually surf from it once you have surf. I was running around there. It might have been trying to finish the Pokédex or something, and I encountered an actual, authentic, um, random spawn shiny, and it was crazy. Um, but that was the only natural spawn shiny that I had ever seen. Um, of course, we're excluding Gyarados because that's a giveaway. I mean that shiny is everybody gets that just for playing through the um, Mahogany Town stuff. Uh, so that one Farfetch'd was the only legitimate spawn shiny that I had ever come across up until Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where I ran into a Lechonk early on, just playing through it. It was pink. It was different, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then it was shiny, and I'm like, wow. Freaked out a little bit, and then I don't remember what we were doing. It was on stream. Um, I had I flew to some place so we could go to a raid or something, and right after I showed up from the fly in, I I left the Pokemon Center and there was a in the mountain there was a bunch of Sneasel and there's a pink Sneasel standing there. I'm like, that's obviously a shiny. And then when we were running around um, looking for the ominous stakes, I think. um, to unlock the treasures of ruin. I come across a shiny Salandit. I think it's Salandit. Um, but it was a male Salandit, so it doesn't evolve. But it was really cool to see it because I wasn't anticipating it, and there it was. So focus on other popular Pokemon like Dratini, Zorua, Mew. Yeah, that's kind of ones that aren't necessarily a frequently done shiny, but still something that's desirable. That's pretty cool. Nest ball, sir. Yes, you selling the nest balls. Moon ball. Say it with me. Moon ball. Okay. It's just this one. This is gonna be it. This is the one. I can feel it. I'm desperately begging it to be. Uh, when you bought Brilliant Diamond, you shiny hunted Turtwig. Soft resetting over and over for a couple hours every day for 2 weeks, and then you finally got it. It was nice, but you're never doing that again. I can believe it. That sounds miserable. That yeah, and just think if you wanted to do like some people do the shiny living Pokédex, especially now, there's over 1,000 Pokemon. Trying to soft reset, even if you took a third of them, assuming that it was well, even so, you'd still have to have well. There's a heal ball. At least it's still Pokeball. I was gonna say a third of them because then you could evolve it, but if you wanted the full Pokédex of them, you'd still have to have three of each one. So just having to restart once for every one of those, that's 1,000 resets. That is a lot. It seems like it would take all the fun out of it. In the end, the act of shiny hunting your starter burns you out from playing the game. That's rough. That because it's just you've invested so much time in it, and then it's like, okay, this is I finally got what I was looking for, but now what? Yeah, I can understand that. Well, that's 3 times in a row that he's had some type of a Pokeball. So maybe I'm it's probably just copium. Um, please. So you have an actual legit shiny Turtwig now that you've evolved to Grottle, named Lazuli. Very nice. Very nice. Since you have so many games and not enough time, you never got around to continuing after the second badge. Well, on the bright side, as long as the battery stays intact in the game, or well, I guess Brilliant Diamond, that's a Switch, so that's not even battery based. On the bright side, he'll still be there waiting for you whenever you get around to it eventually in the future. more than happy to resume the adventure whenever it happens to my phrasing there didn't work out. Whenever you happen to have time for it. That reminds me of my Pokemon Crystal playthrough. That was, I think Pokemon Crystal was the first game I had. It was either the first game or Pokemon Yellow was the first one, and I played Pokemon Crystal a lot more. But we, now that you can fabricate a shiny with maxed IVs and custom EVs, the legit one will never measure up to that. But in terms of significance for you, the legit one will always be better, even if its numbers aren't necessarily as good. And that's, I think, ultimately that's the important, the connection with your Pokemon is really the most important part of it. But again, I don't do anything competitively, and that's probably why. So, but yeah, so the Pokemon Crystal playthrough, um, it was a long time ago, um, playing on the actual cartridge, and at some point, um, I had I had let my brother play it because we were around the same age, and so we kind of would do that. Generally, there was some kind of a trade that occurred, and it's like, okay, well, I get to play this for a while, even though it was my game. And he happened to be playing when you encountered your rival. And back in that day, it didn't give a name to your rival. You had to name him, and you actually encounter him and fight with him before you give him a name, whoever your rival happens to be. So it comes up and it says the name is three question marks because you don't know who this character is, and you battle him, and then you go back and talk to the professor. There's another ball. That's promising. You go back and talk to the professor because he stole a Pokemon from the lab, and you let him know that you bumped into the person that stole the Pokemon. And of course, they want to know what the guy's name is, and at that point is when you get to name your rival. Well, my brother reported what the name was from the encounter as question mark question mark question mark. So for and then of course saved it afterward. So for the entire eternity of my Pokemon Crystal game, because I wasn't about to reset my game. I was so mad. I was so mad. But for the entire rest of that game, my rival's name was three question marks. It was so bad. So that was a long time playing on that game. Completed the ruins, the that had the unknown in it, the ancient ruins, I think it was called. Figured out all the unknown puzzles. Quick ball. Um, Actually, I was able to complete. I mean, this was over years, and ended up trading with several people, my brother, some friends from school at the time, um, and I was actually able to complete the Pokédex on Pokemon Crystal. With the one exception was I never got Mew because Mew wasn't available on the cartridge back then. So, and it was I was so proud of it. It was great. My character's name was Ash because I was obsessed with the actual Pokemon series. So of course that translated into the playthrough there. uh, and had the whole thing completed. It was phenomenal. And then one day, years down the road, I powered it on, and it's corrupted the save file because the battery has died. Because they all the in the old cartridge games, it had a. This is a lure ball. This is one of the rare Pokeballs. It's in the same rarity bracket as the Moon Ball. You not so much. Um, and it just crushed me when I lost that save file. There was so much that was lost in that ordeal. But yeah, it was fascinating and definitely an adventure. I mean, there was once you collected all the Pokemon, you unlocked a certificate or something in the ruins that um you could actually, if you had access to a Game Boy printer, you could actually print out this like congratulatory certificate for completing the Pokédex, for actually completing the Pokédex. Did you know if you get a legendary Pokemon that has a specific item associated with it, like the Greasiest Orb for Giratina, the Rusted Sword for Zach, I mispronounce it every time, Zacian, um, you can get that item here in the auction house. I did. I actually did. Um, and I only discovered that like a few hours ago when I was trying to figure out other information about the auction house and re-rolling it. But that is what the empty stall there is for. Apparently, if you have them, all you have to do is have the legendary in your boxes. Ultra Ball, Parvos, and then it will show up here, and you can fight for it. But yeah, the rusted sword, the rusted shield, all of the Arceus plates, um, the Gracidia flower for Shaman. Um, you're happy when you got your Hoopa transferred in. You could get the prison bottle. Yeah, that is that's awesome for sure. Being able to unbind Hoopa that way. Because once you transfer them in, you can't transfer them back, right? Because they get a flag or something set, so it in the process, so you can't actually pass them back and forth. Because I was thinking you could potentially, especially with Hoopa, you could potentially unbind him and then send him through, so you'd be able to use him in his unbound form. You just couldn't rebind him when he was here. Dive ball. Still not right. Yeah, Hoopa's pretty cool. And the whole story around Hoopa and the prison bottle and oh, he rebinds automatically after a certain number of days. Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking Pokemon Go, because when they brought Hoopa to Pokemon Go, you can unbind him and he'll stay unbound until you rebind him. But yeah, if you use the prison bottle in the main games, it's a temporary thing. Heal balls, Sunstone. Wow. Okay, your Hoopo's still unbound. Interesting. And maybe it's just kind of like the Scarlet and Violet, they changed how it functions, perhaps? I don't know. It's interesting. And maybe it's a certain number of in-game days rather than like just a certain number of IRL days. Well, he's staying on the Pokeball tangent, at least. To me, that feels encouraging, even if it's not right. Yeah, the Miloetta emote is awesome. Is that part of the Twitch Prime emotes? I know they've got a bunch of Pokemon-related ones. If you connect your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account. Dive ball, soda pop. More like so the wrong thing. Oh, I gotcha. It's a pretty neat stack of Pokemon emotes. That is, of course, Kyogre. That is the third one. No, you're kosher. You're kosher. Can't remember Cub something is the third one. The fourth one is a Hatterene, and then Togepi, Gibble, and Lopunny. Can't tell if the second one is supposed to be a Pikachu related one. Oh, it's Regieleki, okay. Very nice. No, you're as far as using emotes from other channels and things, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's all good. Oh, the fourth one is Pheromosa? I see. Interesting. Right, right. Yep. I got the... I remember the Ultra Beasts. Honestly, I think we just recently had Hermosa in Pokemon Go, if I remember correctly. Maybe a couple months ago it cycled through. Because it's the bug that likes to kick. It's like I want to say it's a fighting type, or maybe a fighting dual type. It's like the opposite of everything that Buzzwole is. Because Buzzwole's just this enormous ripped mosquito. Can't wait for Ultra Beasts to make it to Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, they will be pretty sweet. Hopefully, they'll continue expanding the Pokemon that are transferable. But anymore, it's kind of hard to tell with the way Pokemon kind of does things. When did you turn into a fillet seller, sir? You were doing good with all the Pokeballs. So I think what I'm gonna do. Ad's over. Welcome back. I think what I'm gonna do. Let me make sure that, because this is kind of miserable. Let me make sure that we have autosave off, so we don't have any risk of inadvertently saving this. And I've got to remember not to save it intentionally, or like manually. Check the auction house one more time. Razor Claw, Moonstone. Of course it would be Moonstone. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go progress this thing. I gotta press the right button. One of these opens the menu. Autosave is off. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and go meet up with Perrin. We're gonna finish out this Blood Moon Beast quest, and then I'm gonna not save, so I can come back and get the proper ball to put it in the right setup, so we don't have to keep going through this miserable cycle. And then we can actually get some real content here today. So, oh, wow. I forgot I was on the wrong map. Don't mind me. I'll just use an entire airplane to fly back and forth so I can go to the auctions. There it is. We are 100% environmentally friendly here. We only use airplanes when strictly necessary. Like for things like auctions and going to find new clothes and such. Spiders. Ah, yes. The delightful lag caused by grass. Perrin, where have you gone? Boing. Oh man, I ran over a cat. That sounded way worse than was intended. Smack. You're heading out. I appreciate the good luck with the moonball hunt. I will definitely check into that to make sure that I have things covered that need to be covered if they need to be covered. And I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks very much, and we will see you later. Okay, it was just a charge bug up there. Whoa! I did not see it. Blended into with the grass. Mold breaker. Is that because it's the fire type is too hot for the mold? Breaks the mold that way. It's like thermal shock. It's a grubbin. Well, hello there. That's not the button I wanted. That's the button I wanted. It's always funny that some of these are not aggressive by nature. So you can totally just like walk up and take an adorable spider picture. Why? I need to make sure before we commit to this, I need to make sure that there's not any, not gonna be anything that saves automatically on me. Because I don't want that to be a problem. I don't think there is. I'm not seeing anything. Oops. Anything that would indicate that there is a force save. So we can go ahead and do this. I'm just not gonna save it, so we can do this right. You all ready to meet the Blood Moon Beast? No. One more time. I want to close and reload and check the auction one more time. I just got a feeling. I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be the Moonball night. Oh my. Please be nice to me, auction house. Don't make things miserable. Okay. Moment of truth. Luxury ball. And moonstone. I'm not ready to give up yet. This is my life. I've resigned to that. Oh my. Round and around and around we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Bump, 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 bump. Timer ball. I don't understand why it's so difficult. I really don't. Okay, I'm calling it. This is the last attempt. If it works, if it's there, then great. If not, we're gonna go encounter the Blood Moon Beast anyway. And then, like I said, I'll just not save it because there's very few things that I am adamant about. But this is one that I do want to match it up, especially after all the time that we spent working on it. Razor Claw. Fastball on the left side. That's a twist. Fastball. Is that one of the special ones? 100,000. It is one of the special ones. Oh. Okay, one more time. You know, the odds of having two special rare or extra rare drops or rare items show up back to back is probably really slim. I'd tell you the odds, but I dropped my statistics book earlier and it fell just perfectly right through the storm drain grate. I mean, what are the odds of that? Heavy ball, kickball. The happy ball is another special one, isn't it? You just want me to be miserable, don't you? Remember what I was saying about what are the odds of getting two of them back to back? Well, that was two. Can we do three? Can we do three? Let's go. This only makes like 4 hours of rolling these to try and get the right one. I should time one of these resets and see how long it takes. Repeat balls. Those are purchasable in the shop. I guess I didn't check what the third item was. Okay. Because realistically, if I were to time a reset, so 58.50 or 58.49, see how long it takes to reset it, we could calculate over the course of 4 hours roughly how many resets we had. And I mean, the resets weren't optimized at all, but it would give us a rough idea. Statistically speaking, we should have seen at least one of these moon balls by now. It doesn't work. It doesn't like me. Luxury balls. Why do you still have qual-up batteries? It's unacceptable. Okay, and time is basically a minute. So that's 240. So roughly at least 200 resets on this. Roughly 200 resets. And if it is a 0.019%, I guess that's 1/10 of a percent, which would be every 100 or every 1,000 times. Is 1%. I don't know. King's Rock. Just what everybody didn't want. I mean, in the right situation, I could see it being good and useful. Considering it's an evolution item that if you're evolutionizing, then you might be wanting something like that. But as of right now, we are not evolutionizing. We are just losing our minds, hunting for. I don't think it exists. I really don't. I think it's a myth. The mythical moon ball. I'm serious at this point. Still no moon ball yet, Kurhu. And it's only been like 4 hours of constantly resetting. I'm about to the point where I'm probably going to. I talked about going ahead and just 2 hours on stream. I spent 2 hours before stream doing the same thing, just re-rolling. Because I did actually prepare for this one, unlike most times when I say I'm going to prepare for it and I don't. Yeah. Um, it cycles through. Basically, it has a list of things that it could potentially show as an option, and we've got a bunch of the less rare items because they're less rare. We have got some of the other items that are equally as rare as the moon ball, like the lure ball. It showed up not too long ago, but yeah, it's sad. Ultra Ball, that's Moonstone. So close. And then we proceeded after the lure ball, we got a heavy ball right after it, which is another one of the equally rare items. So it was already defying the odds. And then still no moonball. So, but I'm tempted. I don't know if I'm going to at this point, really, because I got back on this tangent. Um, but I'm kind of tempted to just go ahead with the quest and then not save it, so we get the content. But then I can go back later and spend the rest of eternity trying to roll for these items, and then I can just catch it on my own time or something rather than trying to run through on stream. But it's not too bad, I don't think. Got some. It's kind of like doing a just chatting stream instead of an actual gameplay stream. It's so tedious. So very, very tedious. And see, the worst part of it is I'm pretty sure I've received a moonball in the past as one of my uh, rewards for something. I think maybe a Pokédex completion reward or something. And if I have, I've definitely already used it on something else, which is it's great. Hondu berries, nest balls. Nest balls are not. Oh, I guess I knew that. They're available in the regular shop. So around and around and around we go again. eventually, it has to show up. I don't know when, I don't know how, but eventually it will be required. Although my general luck is kind of a statistical improbability anyway, so that may be part of the issue. Fried fillets. He's gone even worse. Do 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 do. But on the bright side, I still have sea pancakes. Ultra Ball, horseradish, and fresh water. You know that dog there is almost the or bear or I don't, is it a dog or a bear? It's a dog. It's almost the same color as the sea pancake. Oh, my squid's been removed from my recently used emotes. Yay. Long arm squid. He's so very wiggly. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, definitely dog. There's the little squid. Oh, wow. Is that is that new? The purple fire. Purple fire hands. I hadn't seen that one before. And somehow the crazy eyes on that squid go really well with the fire hands. It's awesome. Luxury balls. I don't want them. Please. I don't even know what to say anymore. There's the Twitch Prime Krogunk. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up probably we'll wait. We can go one more attempt for or one more week for the Perrin quest, and then we'll go from there. So we'll try these a few more times, and then we'll probably call it a day. That's not the right button. And then next week, I will definitely 100% guaranteed, probably perhaps unless I don't, I'll make sure I've got the moon ball somehow, even if I have to see if Balkoth wants to trade. If I can't get it actually in game, and then next week we can deal with the Blood Moon Beast. I think is gonna be our best bet, because we've run over about as far as I can run today. Not much of a runner. Okay. We'll go. We got eight minutes until I'm reading 9:30. So we'll keep cycling this for 8 more minutes. Hopefully we can find our item. I don't even know what we're doing anymore. It's a Pokeball of some kind. The Moon Ball. Wow. We'll go for another 8 minutes here. See what happens. And it should be a nice, fantastical time. And then we'll wrap up after that. And then next week, you can count on it, we will complete the Perrin quest and catch the Blood Moon Beast in a moon ball. Because it'll be awesome. It'll be so much cooler to actually go through it and catch it in the moon ball and do it right. So, this button. Let's see if I can do this. I can do this. Watch this. There we go. Let's see what this does. Let's go this button, and we'll go there. Quick ball. Resist feather. Okay. That's still not the right button. This one. So we have 6 minutes left, roughly, of rolling these. There we go. You can predict whether we're going to get the moon ball before the end using channel points. We'll see if that's gonna do anything. I personally, I don't think we're going to, because it's not been going well. But to each their own. Maybe this will be the lucky push that we need in order to find it. Duskball, honeydew berries. Nope. Close. Heal ball, so close. It's even a 4-letter first word. Netball. That's available in the shop. Why would I buy it at the auction? Well, we didn't have any votes on the prediction anyway, so all is good. All is good. Choose outcome. No. Dive ball. Well, it's certainly not looking too promising. Netball. Alright, well that is time. So, we have successfully made an attempt, and it didn't go so well for us. So, that's alright. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. For those of you watching after the stream, I do want to remind you that we stream these videos live at twitch.tv/unexpectedlyrandom. You can catch all of this repetitious nature as well as the normal gameplay Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time and Saturday and Sunday at 4. That is at twitch.tv/unexpectedlyrandom. Make sure you follow us on Twitch to join the chaos and check out our streaming schedule for the current lineup. We also have a Facebook and Instagram if you're on those platforms and want to stay up to date with any changes that may occur pertaining to the streaming schedule. Those are the best places to do so. Otherwise, we have a TikTok and the social media platform formerly known as Twitter if you want to check us out over there. And if you're enjoying the content over on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We will see you next time. Of course, until then, stay random.